I seen. Don't tell. Get your mind right.
All right, y'all. We give praise, esteem, and honor to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua HaMashiach this day. Start this off in John chapter 5, verse 39. Search the scriptures, for in them you think you have eternal life, and they which testify of me. And you would not come to me that you might have life. I receive not honor from men, but I know you, that you have not the love of Elohim in you. Not. If another shall come in his own name, him you will receive. I believe which receive honor one from another, and not the honor that comes from Elohim only. Do not think that I will accuse you to Abba. There's one that accused you, even Moses, to whom you trust. Had you believed Moses, you would have believed me, for he wrote of me. If you believe not his writings, how should you believe my words? Michael, you can't sit right there because you're in front of the door. That's just not a good place for you. Not the sliding glass, though. You're in front of the room, though, son. All praise and thanks be to the living Elohim in the name of Yahushua. Amen, Brother Reynolds. Let's go ahead and I have something else. Already said. Come on to Isaiah 28, man. (28 and 8). Whom shall he teach knowledge? Whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Weaned from the milk, drawn from the breast. Precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line. Here a little, there a little. For with stammering lips and with another tongue will he speak to this people, to whom he said, this is the rest. You may cause the weary to rest. This is the refreshing, yet they would not hear. But the word of Yahuwah was unto them precept upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little, there a little, that they may go, fall backwards, be broken and snared and taken. So with that being said, let's go ahead and rehash Hebrews chapter 6 and verse 1. From there, Matthew 13 and 49. Before I deal with what y'all got, let me, did you lock the door, cuz? Because that nigga that don't like to lock no doors. Yeah, they learn to lock the door when a nigga run up in your spot with the pistol out and you sitting there with your drawers down looking crazy. Not literally, figuratively. For a bunch of niggas who say y'all live in the hood, I ain't never seen niggas like to leave doors unlocked.
Trying to adopt more Canadian type of lifestyle.
Yeah, move to Canada. Right? Nigga, we live in the bank.
That boy said, I'm trying to adopt a Canadian culture.
Cause guess what? The little niggas who steal, they like to go to the neighborhood where they expect a nigga to do just what you doing. They banking on that. Oh, you comfortable because you ain't around the niggas no more. Hebrews 6 and 1. Therefore, leaving the principles of the doctrine of Mashiach, let us go into perfection, not laying again the foundation of repentance from dead works, and our faith towards Elohim, of the doctrine of emergence and on the laying on of hands, and the resurrection of the dead and of eternal judgment. This we will do if Elohim permit. Matthew 13 and 49. We'll make it 51. I don't need all that. Yahushua said unto them, have you understood all these things? They said unto him, yea, Lord. Then he said unto them, therefore every scribe instructed unto the Malkuth of Shamahim is like unto a man, an householder, which bring forth out of his treasure new and old. Now we had started Leviticus 26, but I ain't never finished it. So come over here to Leviticus 26. You can pick it up at verse 1. You shall make you no idols, no good image, neither rear you up a standing image, neither shall you set up any image of stone in your land to bow down to it. For I, Yahuwah, your Elohim, You shall keep my Shabbat and reverence my sanctuary. I am Yahuwah. Now, I think we mentioned this that time when we were looking at it. Of course, you're going to have respect or honor for his set apart place and for his temple. This comes on to what we were talking about last night to a degree, when niggas sitting around here talking about they keep this man Sabbath and you ain't got respect and reverence for this man temple. And that can go in a multitude of directions, in a multitude of ways, if I chose to spin it in that fashion. But that would take us off track. If you would permit, we'll come back to it. Most people, they have very little respect for this man's sanctuary. See, let me show you something. Matthew 18. and 18. Hey, you little children need to be quiet. I don't want to hear it. Hey, man, chill out. Sit still. 18 and 18, Matthew. Truly I say unto you that whatsoever you bind on the earth shall be bound in Shamahim. Whatsoever you shall loose on the earth shall be loose in Shamahim. Again I say unto you, that if two of you shall agree on earth as touching anything that they shall ask, it shall be done for them of my Abba which is in Shamahim. For where two or three are gathered together in my name, there I am in the midst of them. Why is that important? Because anytime you gather in this man's name, you step foot in his sanctuary. So you know what a lot of people get it confused at? You used to go to church and you think that means that that's his sanctuary. Yahushua is his sanctuary. Let me show you why I say anywhere two or three are gathered in his name, you in his sanctuary, and you have to have the proper respect for it. I don't care where you at. Ezekiel chapter 11, verse 19. That's why I done told you in the past, if you wait to get decorum because you say you ain't in a place of worship, you ain't never gonna have it. You ain't never gonna have it. You supposed to have it before you step foot in the building. It don't change. If you have to change your mindset based on location, you have a problem because you already don't have the proper mindset. So you're not gonna be successful in the change. Everything start. What does the book tell you? As a man think, so he is. You thinking? See, I'm telling you, it's a I would say more of an American way of thinking. Because of how you talk. You talk that you can switch stuff up when the opportunity comes versus already being prepared before the opportunity presents itself. That's the difference between failures and successful people. You wait till you face with the situation. Successful people are already prepared for it. You don't wait till, oh, now we over here doing this here. Now I got to do this here. You're going to fail because you done spent 5, 10, 15, 20 years doing it like this. You're not going to change overnight. Human beings are creatures of habit. And one thing that human beings don't like is change. You know what I'm saying? That's why most people don't understand. That's why, quote unquote, Christians are people you run across with the word. I done told you this before. You're destroying a person's whole reality. Everything that they believe to be is true. Everything they believe to be reality and what they base their life on, you snatch it in the way, and then you thinking they just gonna change out of nowhere. That's utterly insane. When some of you didn't want to do it. So why would you expect somebody else to? Your mind has to already be set. You got to have reverence and respect for this man's sanctuary, whether you was in a house set apart for worship or not. Because what do we know that all those people did in the days of old? Matter of fact, I mean, they didn't say the days of old. During the time of the apostles, those people were gathering up in each other's houses. And they were going from house to house. Man, Peter and Paul and all them were going from house to house. Remember what happened with Buddy? You put it in a song. You tell me about it. That boy fell off the roof. It was so many people at this person's house that these people were sitting on the roof. And it said Paul had been long preaching. I mean, he was preaching all night. Buddy fell asleep on the roof. Hold on, I'll get it for you. Come over here to the book of Acts. I can't remember. Oh, you got a problem, Eugene? Yeah, you do. Because that's why your daddy told you come over here. Your problem is you ain't listening. You take that over there. Now go over there with the rest of them. You ain't exempt. Go over there with the rest of them. Go over there with the rest of them. You got that food, go over there with them. Acts chapter 20. I pick it up in verse 1. Shalom, man. 'Let me get this Ezekiel 11 out the way first. Eleven and 14. Let me get that out the way first before we go to Acts 20. Now I'm trying to tell you something, right? This is the difference between milk and meat. What you looking at? I just want you to understand. He said, reverence my sanctuary in Leviticus 26. That's literally talking about a physical location. In that particular place, it was talking about the tabernacle of witness first, because it wasn't no temple of Yahuwah yet. It was talking about tabernacle of witness. Then he's sitting here. See, we going past that because we talking about eternal judgment. You supposed to have an everlasting judgment to know that you supposed to know how to behave yourself regardless. Because what did he tell you in Isaiah 66? What temple can you make unto me? I don't dwell in temples made with hands. Solomon, when he built the temple, he said the heavens cannot contain you. Not so much more this house that I done built for you. So that means nothing. You supposed to know how to carry and conduct yourself anytime 2 or 3. Why is it 2 or 3? Because 2 or 3 witnesses in the matter is established. The matter can't be established if you gathered by yourself. You know what I'm talking about? Now that's different if you're talking about prayer and you're in communication of prayer. That's something totally different. We talking about gathering. I done had people ask me, can you self-baptize yourself? That's utterly insane that you got people telling people that they can do that. Not that somebody asked. Because I can understand why you would ask. Because if you don't know, you're going to ask. You know what I'm talking about? I'm not knocking the asker. I'm knocking the nigga who told the asker that that was something that they could do. Because people be wanting to get baptized and they be like, there ain't nobody here to baptize me. Can I baptize myself? Well, I'm be honest with you. Most brews don't even have people confess their sins when they get immersed. See, the only reason why we do that because that's what you see in the book. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, oh, let's just make these people do that. We can read and see that these people confess their sins and then they got immersed. So that's why. See, we just gonna do what we see is written. Because if there wasn't nobody confessing those sins, then there would be no need for ask anyone to do that. You know what I'm saying? That's just like I said, I told y'all previously. There's nowhere in the text that say if you immerse somebody, they got to follow you and learn from you. That's not written anywhere. You know what I'm saying? Those men immerse people who believe. There's nowhere in it where you can preclude somebody from being immersed if they say that that's what they want. You know what I'm saying? The only thing you ever see them ask them is, you believe that Yahushua the Son of God? They say, yeah, I do. Then, hey, ain't nothing gonna stop you. Because they already know if you don't, and you do this, you damning yourself. You know what I'm saying? They ain't gonna be like, no, I gotta wait, and we gotta wait and see 3 months. You know what I'm saying? You got people who put people off for 60, 90 days to get baptized. You got people who wait for people to come from city to city to baptize them because they like, ain't nobody to baptize. You know what I'm talking about? When really, in actuality, if it was somebody who you wanted to be baptized and you wanted to be baptized, you would go to them. That's the difference between people now and then, is if they heard you had it, they was coming to you to find you. They weren't going to wait for you to come to them. No, we're not talking about the pattern for why. We're not disputing that at all. He's talking about the advent of people confessing their sins. You know what I'm saying? And I understand why he asked that, because you just assuming everybody do that. Everybody don't. You know what I'm saying? A lot of brews bring you out there. You know what I'm saying? Cut the cameras on, post that junk up, go live, all that. You won't see a single solitary soul confess nothing. You know what I'm talking about? Mm-hmm. He ain't see him no more. You know what I'm talking about? He ain't see that man no more. Because it ain't about that, because you're not adding them to your congregation. You add them to the congregation in heaven. That's right. That's what you add them to. So you don't add, that's what I meant last night on, that's carnal. There's no membership. You know what I'm saying? You're not a member. You're a member of his body. You're not a member of my body, because this ain't my body. It's not my house. It's not my gathering. It's not my assembly. It does not belong to me. You know what I'm talking about? All anybody who preaches an assembly is an overseer or of something that belongs to another man. You know what I'm saying? So he expecting you to take, just like them parables he gave about with the many gave them men, and you ain't multiply my money. You supposed to be a caretaker of what's mine. And you ain't care over what's mine, so I'm going to come see you about mine. See, brews and Christians alike done got it like these yo congregations. These yo people, no, they're not. That's why I've been telling y'all for years. It doesn't matter who fellowships where. That shouldn't even be a matter. That's why I said that last night. Why you even asking? Why when you meet somebody and you see they believe in you, who, and the first question you got in your mind is, who you fellowship with? What congregation you go to? That's whole stuff to me. That's me personally. I'm not knocking nobody who do it, but me personally, that's weird. Because you would think that you would be trying to connect on Yahusha and not where you gather at. That's where this connection should be at. But you know, everybody ain't got pure hearts now. You know what I'm saying? Some of these niggas weirdos. It's confess. I mean, it is a representation of repentance, and that's the custom of what they did. I mean, let me tell you something, man. What did the Apostle James write in his epistle letter in the 5th chapter? What did he tell the people to do? I'm helping you out. You can find it. He said, confess your faults. Now, why would he do that? Just like I told you what brews be doing on atonement. They done made atonement be by them. If I offended anybody, there ain't nowhere in the book. That's Jewish customs, man. That's what Jewish people do. Day of Atonement wasn't about you atoning for what you did to another person. Because if you waited 12 months to apologize to a nigga about some junk you did, and you know you did it, you's a hell of a nigga anyway. You could have kept that. Because I guarantee you done seen me multiple times in them 12 months. You knew you was wrong when you did it. You could have been said it. Man, atonement is about purging and reconciliation. That was about the sins of Yasharal to Yahuwah. Shalom, Christina. They ain't got nothing to do with. See, y'all don't know that because y'all ain't friends with a lot of brews. Man, let atonement roll around, man. You'll see a whole bunch of brews. If I offended you, whole nigga, you know if you offended a nigga, what you posting it for? You supposed to call him. You know what I'm saying? See, that's fake righteousness, man. They call that's virtue signaling. What Lil Duval like to call it, that's fake caring. You fake caring. You don't really care for real. Because that's not, if I did something to you, you think I should wait 12 months and then make a Facebook post about it? Don't never call you, though. Because guess what? If you can do all that, you already knew you was wrong. You know what I'm saying? And that's why niggas be falling out. And this, man, all this junk be flawed, man. And brews just sit back with their head in the sand like they don't see it, man. That junk be flawed is all I know. But you know, if you like it, I love it. Hey, when are you about to get that dope? I just say that because I don't let them women answer that.
Sit down.
11 and 14.
Yeah.
Ezekiel.
13.
14. Ezekiel 11 and 14. Again, the word of Yahuwah came unto me saying, Son of man, your brethren, the men of your kindred. Shalom, man. And all the house of Yasharal holy. They are unto whom the inhabitants of Jerusalem have said, get you far from Yahuwah, unto us is this land given in possession. Therefore say, thus saith Yahuwah, Elohim, although I have cast them far off among the heathen, and although I've scattered them among the countries, yet will I be to them as a little sanctuary in the countries, whether they shall come. He said he'll be to you, thank you, man. He said he'll be to you as a sanctuary. Let me see something real quick. Oh, never mind, because I'm going to get to that in a moment. I don't think I know I'm going to use this. Yeah, come over here to Psalm 90. Psalm 90 and 1. Lord, you have been our dwelling place in all generations. Before the or ever you had formed the earth and the world, even from everlasting to everlasting, you Elohim. Turn man to destruction and say, return you sons of Adam. I just want you to see that as another establishing that he your dwelling place. You see how he say he'll be a sanctuary to you no matter where you scatter. So that means no matter where you at, you're supposed to reverence and have respect to this man's sanctuary and treat it as such. It don't take no building for it. If you don't know how to do it, guess what he told you? You ought to know how to conduct yourself in the house of Elohim. And if you don't, you're going to go to hell behind it. Because he's going to look at it as how you can't respect me in my house. Because wherever 2 or 3 are gathered in his name, you are in his sanctuary, and he expects reverence and respect for it. Acts chapter 20. Verse 1. Shalom, man. Y'all go ahead and hit that like button while you're at it. That's a lot of brews. A lot of brews ain't got no respect for that man's house. Because the son is the house. So wherever he's at, you in his house. Now, we just sitting back looking at it right here, right? They was in, like I told you, right? You can see that in Acts 2, I believe. How they said they went from house to house with joyness and gladness and singleness of heart. See, the only time that you had synagogues, you had the temple, and of course, y'all know in Acts 20, the last chapter of Acts, it said that Paul had a hired house or a rented house where he taught people the word. And there was a way that you were going to comport yourself or you wasn't coming in there. You know what I'm talking about? Because I'm telling you, if you don't know how to behave yourself before you walk into a place that's sanctified for worship, you ain't never going to know how to do it. You know what I'm talking about? You have to train your mind to know how to conduct yourself long before you ever face with the opportunity. Because if not, you're going to fail. You're going to put yourself in that position and you're going to embarrass yourself. Shalom, Brother Craig. Amen. Praise you indeed. Acts 20 and 1. And after the uproar was ceased, Paul called unto the disciples and embraced, departed for to go into Macedonia. And when he had gone over those parts, he had given them much exhortation. He came into Greece and abode 3 months. And when the Yahudim laid wait for him, as he was about to sail into Syria, he purposed to return through Macedonia. There accompanied him Asia, Sopater of Berea, and of the Thessalonians, Aristarchus, Secundus, and Gaius of Derbe, Timotheus and of Asia, Typhus and Trophimus. These going before tarried for us at Troas. And we sailed away for Philippi after the days of unleavened bread, and came unto them into Troas in 5 days, where we abode 7 days. And upon the first of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them ready to depart on the morrow, and continued his speech until midnight. See, this is a verse that a lot of Christians will say, see, let me tell you something, right? Notice what he said, they came together to break bread. Now, when they're looking at breaking bread, how would you be able to determine that that's not literal bread? Oh, no. There's a passage that you can see in the New Testament that's not dealing with the unleavened bread, because unleavened bread is past. No, because he just told you unleavened bread passed. That's a one-time memorial. They didn't do that every day. They don't do that like y'all do in church, get your grape juice and your crackers. Let me show you. Luke 24. Luke 24 and 25. It definitely is, man. Context definitely key. I'm only mentioning this for y'all because I know y'all don't know that. Because I don't care what a Christian do, to be quite honest with you. I'm mentioning that this is something that y'all notice. That they say, see, first day of the week, these men taught the word every day. That's something that Mo Brews don't realize. Mo Brews only hear the word once a week. Mo Brews that teach the word only teach once a week. And that's on the Sabbath. You know what I'm talking about? But these men you see in this text, they taught every day. They went from spot to spot, house to house, city to city. They taught every day. It wasn't the only day we could teach is on the Sabbath. Them boys came and gathered together and taught every single solitary day. Now, whether they taught the same people or not, that's a different conversation. But they taught every day. Luke 24 and 25. Then he said unto them, O fools and slow of heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Ought not Mashiach to have suffered these things to enter into his esteem? And beginning at Moses and all the prophets, he expounded unto them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself. And they drew near unto the village whither they went, and he made as though he would have gone further. But they constrained him, saying, Abide with us, for it is toward evening, and the day is far spent. And he went in to tarry. And it came to pass, as he sat at meat with them, he took bread and blessed and brake and gave to them. And their eyes were opened, and they knew him, and he vanished out of their sight. And they said one to another, Did not our heart burn within us while he talked with us by the way, while he opened to us the scriptures? Notice what he said he did what with them? He broke some bread with them. So that's how you know they were sitting down and they were getting some word. Let's return. Acts 20. 20 and 7 one more time. Because some of y'all know I ain't did it in a while. Well, I used to preach 6 days a week. Maybe not on here, but 6 days a week for months. Oh, I didn't know you existed in the earth at that time. Hey, sound like a person call. No, it just happened that it would fall 6 days. Sometimes, some weeks 7. Oh, it was every day. Oh, it's like this here, man. Somebody be like, man, we conference call with this person, or this person want to do this here, or on somebody every day. Especially fooling with Quad, man. Shoot, I used to be on the phone with Quad twice a day, 5 days a week, and then other people would be on there with him. You know what I'm saying? And we just be, hey, man, check this out. We finna hit this and hit that. Or people call me up like, hey, man, jump on this here, man. And niggas used to be like, oh, this nigga's driving around. I'm like, well, shoot, what y'all thought of nigga? You thought I just was sitting at the house with a Bible open waiting on y'all? No, not at all. That's not what happens. You know what I'm saying? Oh, yeah, that was all the time, man. You know what I'm saying? I had a little bit more time to be able to do. A lot of dope got sold then. You know what I'm saying? Especially, I say, for the man, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Twice a week. Because he say, hey, man, everything you know, I want to know it. Shoot, you my nigga, I got you. Yeah, that's pretty much how that works. What y'all over there doing? I don't know why y'all coming here eating anyway. (27) Acts. Upon the first of the week, when the disciples came together to break bread, Paul preached unto them, ready to depart on the morrow and continue his night. Notice the key component of who it was who came together. Who it was that came together? The disciples, not as apostles. He had many disciples. Disciples just, learned ones, taught one. People who were servants of the Lord, that's who he was teaching. Again, that goes into the point that prophecy is for those that believe. Dang, this junk keep locking, man. And there went many lights in the upper chamber where they were gathered together. See, because you know what a lot of people tell you, right? You ain't got no business preaching that night. Them people was in the house. And guess what he in there doing? I had somebody used to tell me that, man, them people don't need to be up preaching that night. This man right in these people's house. Lights in the house. Maybe they tell you like the people were living primitive, didn't? Ain't that what they like to tell you? And get what it said in the upper chamber, that's how they had lights. Them people were sitting right on in there. And there was sat in a window a certain young man named Echius, being fallen into a deep sleep as Paul was long preaching. He sunk down with sleep, and he fell down from the third loft and was taken up dead. And Paul went down and fell on him, embracing, and said, trouble not yourselves, for life is in him. And when he therefore was come up again and had broken bread and eaten and talked a long while, even till the break of day, so he departed. And they brought the young man alive and were not a little comforted. So he resurrected him from the dead. But notice that he said he preached till the sun came up. Indeed. Yeah, he preached till the sun came up, man. And get what? While he was in that house, that was the Lord, and everybody had to conduct themselves properly. Back to Leviticus 26. 26 and 4. Or 26 and 3. If you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them, then will I give you rain in due season. The land shall yield her increase. The trees of the field shall yield her fruit. And your threshing shall reach unto the vintage, and the vintage shall reach unto the sowing time. And you shall eat your bread to the full and dwell in your land safely. And I will give peace in the land, and you shall lie down, and none shall make you afraid. I will rid evil beasts out of the land, neither shall the sword go through your land. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword. 5 of you shall chase 100, and 100 of you shall put 10,000 to flight. And your enemies shall fall before you by the sword. For I will have respect unto you, and make you fruitful, and multiply you, and establish my covenant with you. And you shall eat old store, and bring forth the old because of the new. Now, let's look at old store. Old is your son, old storage, old store, yard, shan, and noon. And your store. Your son. Yard, shan, and noon also, to be asleep. To remain up a long period of time, to be stored up. So, of course, here we ain't dealing with no sleep. So you got yard, shan, and noon. You can give me what you got. Little muffin. Got to chill for a minute? Yeah. Good? Yeah. The marshmallows helped out?
Who shall pay you the life?
Notice he say you'll move the old store out for the new. See, that take it that he that is a householder, because Yahweh try to pay you the life, you know what I'm saying, bring forth out of his treasure things new and old. So before we get into what y'all got, let's go to Matthew and let's look at this man dealing with milk, and let's look at him dealing with meat. That's why sometimes the people were confused in the things that he taught. I don't even know if we want to use all of that. Let me see. We want to use all of that. Let's go right here to Matthew chapter 12. Matthew chapter 12 and verse 1. At that time, Yahushua went on Shabbat through the corn. His disciples were hungered and began to pluck the ears of corn and to eat. But when the Pharisees saw, they said unto him, behold, your disciples do that which is not lawful to do upon Shabbat. But he said unto them, have you not read what David did when he was a hungered, and they that were with him? How he entered into the house of Elohim and did eat shewbread, which was not lawful for him to eat, neither for them which were with him, but only for priests. Or have you not read in the law how in the Shabbat the priests in the temple profane the Shabbat and are blameless? But I say unto you that in this place is greater than the temple. But if you had known what mean I will have mercy and not sacrifice, and you would have not condemned the guiltless, for the son of Adam is Lord even of Shabbat. So now this is what you're gonna have to do. Is this laying on of hands? Is this resurrection of the dead? Is this the doctrine of baptisms? Or is this eternal judgment? Get your hands off the wall. There's no need to put your hands on the wall. Which one is it? Why would you say that is eternal judgment?
Verse 7 7, you have known what it means. That's kind of judgment matter. You have to understand. You have to understand. Judge, correct?
What you basing that off of? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you. What you basing this off of? You explaining it to me.
Yeah, I'm basing it off of verse 7.
You know what your first mistake was? You didn't even reference what he was referring to, and that could have cleared up any questions that your potential audience could have even had. Because the first thing you should have went to is, let me explain what happened with David and bread. Let me explain to you what the shewbread, why he wasn't supposed to have it, and then you could have been able to manifest that this is why that's eternal judgment. That's your first mistake. Always, unless your audience shows you differently, that they're aware of the information, you throw out small nuggets to see if they're familiar with what you're talking about, and that allows you to know if you need to dive deeper. Because you don't want to insult somebody's intelligence, like you're talking to them like they're stupid and they don't know, and they may already know. So I'm just telling you this here because I'm going to be asking y'all as if I don't know the answer. So I can't give you no help because I don't know. You see what I'm saying? So the first way you're supposed to hear that, he talking about David and that shewbread. First thing you got to talk about is the shewbread, this sanctified bread. This is only for the priest. Once they put it on the vessel, this set apart, only the priest can eat it. Then you had to go with David went, he was being chased or going through some type of battle. They come up, they hungry. What's the first thing the Levitical priest asked for? What's the first thing he asked him when he said, man, we ain't got no common bread in here? Huh? He asked him, he said, man, y'all ain't had no sex, basically. He said, no, we ain't touched no women by 3 days. See, that's another element when dudes be like, you gotta have sex. Man, you ain't supposed to be doing all that, man. Not if you finna approach to Yahuwah. See, the issue is not if you're gonna have sex. You have much sex as you want to have. But if you're gonna approach to Yahuwah, then you can't do it. Because the priest like this here, man, I ain't supposed to give you this bread. But see, this is a difference between milk and meat and why this is eternal judgment. Because what is judgment? The act of deciding a controversy. The act of determining what's right and what's wrong. And what's right is to be merciful. I can't turn no man away who hungry and said, I can't feed you because this sanctified bread. Now you looking at Yahuwah like, so your sanctification of your bread is more important than a hungry soul. And that's why most rules going to hell. Because they ain't got enough sense to know that. You know what I'm talking about? Because we done had this conversation before. A brew will be walking down the street, see a nigga, he can see this man hungry, and he be like, it's the Sabbath. I can't go into this Burger King, this McDonald's, this such and such, and buy you nothing to eat. But God love you, brother. Keep the Sabbath sanctified. Boy, you going to hell, bro. Because according to the law, that priest was what? He transgressed the law. But yet he was not held guiltless in the least bit. Not in the least bit. Wasn't convicted, wasn't condemned, wasn't judged, wasn't nothing. That man say, just tell me one thing, man. You ain't touched no women, have you? He say, nah. Y'all boy come and eat. That's why Yahushua brought that up. Because you sizing us about plucking corn. You understand me? We plucking corn. You sizing us about that. But what about the priests? They cook every night. They cook every Sabbath. They work, and not even cook. They work every Sabbath. And not only do they work, they cook the food, sit down, and eat it. And they blameless. And you sizing me by some doggone corn. See, that's milk, right? That ain't milk, that's meat right there. You know what I'm talking about? Because now you're dealing with eternal judgment. And what are you dealing with? To be merciful. To be compassionate. Let's continue. I'm just going to give y'all some examples of the Lord doing this before we deal into what we got to talk about. But what y'all got for me? See, we're going to give another one. This should be easy. I'm trying to give you some layups because we right here in the same spot. I'm trying to grab 2 witnesses out of each gospel, and then we'll move on. Come over here to verse 22. Chapter 2. Hey, be quiet because you're being rude. Go on outside. Go outside. Go outside. Go outside. Go outside. Go on outside. Unlock the sliding glass door and let him go outside.
Sit down. Be quiet.
That's right, Saram. Mercy, rejoice against judgment. You say eternal judgment by required in verse 7, but I guess you heard. He didn't heard what I said. That would take on to put that up. 12 and 22. Then was brought unto him one possessed with a devil, blind and dumb. He healed him insomuch that the blind and dumb both spake and saw. All the people were amazed and said, is not this the man? Is not this the son of David? When the Pharisees heard, they said, this do not cast out devils, but by Beelzebub, the ruler of the devils. Yahushua knew their thoughts and said unto them, every kingdom divided against itself is brought to desolation. Every city or house divided against itself shall not stand. And if Hashatan shall cast out Hashatan, he is divided against himself. How shall then his kingdom stand? And if I bear Beelzebub cast out devils, by whom do your sons cast out? Therefore they shall be your judges. Now this is obvious. He's using eternal judgment here. What is he using? He's showing these men that they are not what? A full age. Because if they were a full age, they would be able to discern between good and evil. But you know why they couldn't discern between good and evil? Because of envy. See, that's what, and what do we read? What Peter say you need to get rid of? All envy, all maliciousness, all hypocrisies, all evil speakers. That is carnality. You're not going to be able to discern nothing spiritual when those type of things exist in your heart. It's going to be impossible. You're going to be led by your flesh. What does Proverbs tell you? Who can stand before what? Envy. Because that's why they said that. That's why Yahushua came back. Notice his response. He showed them, hey, man, if this is the case, how can the adversary cast out the adversary and his house stand? Then he hit it and said, you know what? If I do it by Beelzebub, who do your sons do it by? Let that be your judge. So they can go to hell. See, there's a difference of what Yahushua did when he disputed with men and what we do now. He used the word against them and let that word judge and damn them. You want to argue. You want to prove your point, prove you correct. Nah, I'm going to give you this word. I'm going to let the word tell you that you're going to hell. You know what I'm talking about? That's all I got. Man, you know how frustrated people who say they believe in the word get when all you do is give them word? You remember your man's when he got out reclining about it the other day? Oh, this is blasphemous. I say, brother, I thought you loved the word, brother. I thought this is what you came around here for. Because every question you asked, I gave you a verse. I didn't pontificate with you. I don't have no time for that. Here's a verse. Here's another verse. Everybody get one. Gonna give you what you're looking for. We're going to move on. Let's continue. He said, but if I cast out devils by the Ruach of Elohim, then the kingdom of Elohim is come unto me. Or else how can one enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except first he bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house. He that is not with me is against me. He that gather not with me scatter abroad. Now, when they're dealing with the scatter, what prophet would you use to validate his scattering abroad statement? What prophet? There's a prophet that talked about men who were scattering the people. They weren't gathering the people to Yahuwah. They were scattering. Oh, these people crazy as hell. That's Ezekiel 34. He talking about them shepherds scattered. No, them people sending me that doggone jump out that doggone Camry, man. Man, you a third-party collector. I'm not paying you. Oh, you better know the laws. You better know the laws. You only responsible to pay the person who you had the debt to. You know what I'm talking about? And I didn't even know I had no debt. Them niggas just called me out of the blue one day talking about, you owe us $4,000 for the Camry. Well, shoot, nigga, you got it. You pay it. Straight up now. You can't call me 2 years after something gone talking about you owe me. No, you can't do that. What you got for Jeremiah, Saran? What you say for Jeremiah? You said the same thing. 23 and what?
Woe to the shepherd.
I'll allow it. He said the same thing.
23 and 1.
It's the same thing. Because if you ain't gathering, guess what you're doing? Scattering. And guess what this is? This is more eternal judgment. And what did he judge? That you weren't gathering the people to Elohim. You were moving the people away from Elohim. We won't deal with them blaspheming the spirit. Let's come over here to Mark. See what we got in Mark. Well, we just talked about it this the other day. I'll just throw that out there just to throw that out there. Mark 10 is what? Y'all look over Mark 10 and you tell me what Mark 10 is. Mark 10. You got eternal judgment. You got laying on the hands. You got resurrection of the dead. You got doctrine of emergence. Mark 10 is what? And y'all need to pay attention. Little Abigail. Little Tubby Man. Come here, Renee. What you over there doing? I don't know. I seen you. You look like you were over there. Eternal judgment, resurrection of the dead, laying on of hands, doctrine of emergence.
Verse 13.
Oh, you went past. You went all the way past. Oh no, that's not going to be that one. That's something totally different. You really could focus on 1 through 12. My apologies. You don't need all of that. You don't need all verse all the way down to yeah. It's 50 verses in that thing. Just 1 through 12. I was just looking at them 10, and I neglected the fact that there was 40. My fault. We section that off.
Is that doctrine of emergence?
What, Matthew 1, Mark 1 through 12?
I thought you said Mark 10.
Yeah, I mean, that's what it is. Say Mark 10, 1 through 12.
I'm just saying the coming woman.
Resurrection.
Yeah, I was the resurrection.
That's what y'all get from 1 through 12.
Resurrection of the dead.
There ain't no resurrection of the dead in there.
No.
You're saying in the resurrection, they're either going to be given in the middle.
He don't talk about that in Mark chapter 10.
He said, laying on hands, doctrine of immersion, and judgment.
Eternal judgment, resurrection of the dead. In Mark chapter 10, verses 1 through 12, you think about Mark, he think about Sunday Matthew when he was telling them, when the Pharisees came to him and said it wasn't no resurrection.
But it's judgment.
That's all. That is
That's judgment.
That's judgment. And what is the judgment? We can read through it because we just talked about it. That's the only reason why we're not reading. Yeah, because that was the judgment from the beginning. I'm trying to get to the point. You had to get to the point where you can look at every one of these verses and disseminate information from each individual passage with indisputable evidence. Matter of fact, before we proceed, because he said this precept, and what he lets you know where his judgment is, verse 5 lets you know that's judgment, verse 6, 7, and 8. You know what I'm talking about? Before you even get to what the eternal judgment is that you're causing somebody to commit adultery. But the eternal judgment that he desired is their kindness, because he said, the hardness of your hearts, he gave you this. I think it wasn't so. He's giving you the case that this is what is right. And his, because it's not about what's right to us, it's about what's right to him. But I want to give you the definition of precept per Isaiah 28, since the word precept is being used in this particular passage.
Sit back.
I'm going to give you precept in line for you to think of those. Precept is sod, and ooh. It's a command, it's an ordinance, it's an oracle. What would you say? Sod and ooh, that's what you got. You got to secure the way. You better be secured to it. Better grab hold to it. Now, when you got line, you got cob. This is a measuring line, a cord, if you will. And also, you know, a mimicry of his words, because these people mimic his words. You got kuf and ooh. You better be secured to the light. So when you look at this here, a precept and a line, it's the way and it's the light. And we know that the commandments of Yahuwah is light, and the doctrines and the reproofs are a way of life, or something along those lines, because I ain't saying how it's supposed to be said. So she mentioned verse 13 and Mark 10. 13 to 16, what is that? Is it eternal judgment? Is it resurrection of the dead? Is it laying on of hands? Is it, yeah, I knew the verse, I just ain't saying correct. Or doctrines of emergence. Why is it eternal judgment? Now notice this here, right? Let me ask y'all this here to verse 14. This is where you're going to be able to prove why this is judgment. When Yahushua saw, let me read this verse. When they brought young children to him that he should touch them, his disciples rebuked those that brought them. But when Yahushua saw, he was much displeased and said unto them, suffer the little children to come unto me, forbid them not, for such is the Malkuth of Elohim. Truly I say unto you, that whosoever shall not receive the Malkuth of Elohim as a little child, he shall not enter therein. And he took them up in his arms, put his hands upon them, and blessed them. Now, you got laying on the hands here in detail, but where would you go at in the law to prove verses 14 and 15 are eternal judgment? Because it's there. That should be pretty easy for you.
Joshua, how the parents didn't get in, but the children got in?
The children got in. That's it. What was the age range?
21.
That's why he say allow them. He say because such is the kingdom of Elohim. Who inherited the kingdom the first time? The youngins. That's who got it the first time. So what is that particular passage showing you? That if you can't humble yourself to trust, follow, and obey like them young people did in the book of Numbers, well, you're not getting in. And again, this is meat that he actually teaching to the people. This is not milk that he giving them. You got to have understanding of the text to be able to understand what he actually saying to them if you open up the book to somebody. Because that Mark 1 through 12, Mark 10, 1 through 12, that's not milk. Because these people still to this day think you can divorce your wife. I told you the lady said, you got pastors on their second or third marriage or argue you down. No, they're not going to argue me, baby. They're going to be arguing with Yahuwah. Because you're not going to argue with me because I already know it ain't right. Because I told you before, he didn't go get him another wife. He kept the same wife he had. You know what I'm talking about? Then, of course, you live in a time now. It's a woman who leave majority of the time anyway. So go ahead and leave, baby, because one thing about it, you got something that touch your body every month that make you want sex. So I guarantee you going to fold for I do. Because you're going to want somebody to take care of you. You're not going to want to take care of yourself. You ain't, because see, there's one thing about a woman. She ain't going to go without something she feel like she won't. She expect a man to do it, but she not going to do it. And you can go to hell because I don't need you. Now, in that regard, go ahead and slide. Go and get you another husband, skin it up and grin it up. And I hope I be the one with the sword to cut your head off because I told your stupid behind out what was going to happen. But you didn't listen. You thought it was a game. Now you're sitting in your shame. You all right? Yeah, a lot of people don't want to hear that. I remember a while, some years back, people like this, I got to make sure you ain't common law married. You ain't got to worry about that. Most states don't even recognize that no more. You a damn fool to live with a woman 7, 8 years any doggone way in that capacity. I'm not finna live with nobody no 7, 8 years like that. I ain't doing that. Not no woman for what? Man, shoot, you just seen, I just told you, that doggone lady got put out there. I told you that lady was lying on bad man Kevo, talking about she was homeless. Talking about she said I only did it because I thought he was finna get another woman. And that's one reason why she did it. Oh, he got me out here homeless. She said it. I got emotional. I got nervous. I panicked. You know what I'm talking about? Thought he was going to get somebody else. Because guess what? You know what she cared? She about, it's his fault I'm lazy with the chefs and the cleaners. Because she didn't cook or clean. But you know where that came from? You got some money and you didn't make that woman earn her position in your life and you gave her stuff. And now she feel like I ain't got to cook and clean. You could pay for a maid. You could pay for a chef. What I got to do that for? All I need to do, you need to get my nails done. You need to do this for me and do that for me. Now he like this here. Guess what he told her? I don't want to live with you. I want you to live over here and I'm going to live over here and I'll pay for it. That drove her crazy. What you mean you don't want to live with me? Because I don't want to live with you. And they say you're daddy and you don't listen. This is the exact word. You know how much money you got to be making to tell your woman, go stay over there and I'll pay for it. And when I want to come see you, I'll come see you. Don't come over here, though. I don't want you over here. Shoot, that's what Solomon did. Solomon had a house for his wife. You stay over there. Don't come over here. When I want you, I'll send for you. That's a different time. See, in modern time, that drive a woman crazy. What you mean you don't want to live with me? You ever live with you, nigga? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you wouldn't know. I ain't saying that to be harsh, but I'll be honest with you. When you're dealing with more men, they don't really want to be around a woman like that. That's why dudes be building quote-unquote man caves and having place they can go away to get away from you. And it's not nothing mean, rude, or disrespectful. It's just as a man, you a woman, you don't realize how, well, I don't want to say draining, but how frustrating female energy can be for a man to deal with on a regular basis. So that's why when you hear women like, he always hanging out with his boys, he must be gay. Because there's a difference of being around masculine energy and feminine energy. And feminine energy has an effect on a man if he is actually a man, and he don't want to be around that for an extended period of time. He wants to be able, okay, I want to kick some time with you, that's fine. I don't want to be around you every day. All day. Because most of the time, I'm not going to get nothing in the course of our interaction. I'm going to have to give. You ain't giving me anything. You know what I'm talking about? At least if he get in a group of other men, it can be, he can give me something, he can give me something. It's something that can be added to him. When he get to you, I got to pour into you. You going to take. You ain't going to give me nothing. And you think giving me vagina is a return for that, and it's really not. And then the emotionality. Most men don't know how to deal with the emotions of a woman. It frustrates them, and they would only like to deal with it in short spurts. That's the biggest part, the emotion. And that's nothing y'all can do about that. That's not a knock on y'all. Most men can't deal with it. See, y'all don't know because y'all not women. Y'all actually do know. Because when y'all get into group activities together as women, now you find out why men don't want to be around you like that. Because y'all don't know how to function in a peaceful harmony. Y'all don't know how to do that because it's always going to be some arguments. It's always going to be this, that, there, and the third. And that's what, when y'all get together and y'all be like, dang, we can't do this and do that. That's how men feel dealing with y'all. Because if you put a woman in a leadership position, this, that, there, and the third, y'all fight, argue, scream, backbite, do all type of stuff. And that's why niggas go to the bar, drink beers, and smoke weed. I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. Y'all know it. Shoot, you just told me the other day. You got a family full of women, don't you? It's very difficult to deal with them, is it not? Now imagine if you was a man and you had to live with them and take care of them and untangle the extension cord, which is the problems of life that they create from their own overthinking of the emotions that float through their head. And now you get to see what Yahuwah deal with dealing with men. Because that's what he got to deal with. Because remember, we opposite of him. You know what I'm talking about? And that's why I already told the men, what does that psalm say? Yahuwah consider if your frame that you are what? But dust. So he already know how you are. I say most men, you ain't taught about the emotionality of women. They don't know how to deal with it. Like they know that women are emotional, but they don't know how to deal with it because nobody actually gets you mentally prepared to son, this is how you deal with that. Because then you go into the interaction thinking that she's just like you. So if you give her logical, rational, this, that, there, and the third, she gonna think like that too, and she don't. And when she don't, you get frustrated. Then on top of that, she want to be up under you and this, that, there, and the third, and you don't want to do that all the time. So then she thinks that it's something else. Oh, he doesn't like me, or he doesn't find me this here. No, he doesn't want to be up under a woman right now. He might be plotting and planning his next move, but you're not going to understand that if he explained that to you because you're going to think that you're not attractive or pretty. When really, I just don't want to be around you right now. And it has absolutely nothing to do with you. I want to be over here in a masculine space, in a masculine thought process, working out masculine ideals for masculine objectives and goals. Ain't got nothing to do with you. But would you understand that? No. You can be like, is my breath stink? Is my hair not done? Oh, some women who go so far, it's got to be another woman. The other woman is his life. That's the other woman. His goals, his objectives, his plan, his purpose. That's his other woman. Because he was married to her before he met you. I would hope. You know what I'm talking about? It's nothing personal. It's just different. Because guess what? When y'all want to do your little girl stuff, you don't want to be, y'all got periods, you don't want to be, and that's what Monica's saying. You look like you used to play that song in your room all the time. You did. It's just one of them days, don't take it personal. Yeah, you. How you look at it, look like, shoot, I did used to play that song. You know what I'm saying? Well, y'all want to be alone. But see, the difference is, when y'all want to be alone, you want him to understand that when he want to be alone, it's got to be on your terms. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. See, that's the difference. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm just going to tell you what most people ain't going to say out loud. Y'all want to be alone. He's supposed to understand that. He's supposed to go without the sex. He's supposed to go without whenever he wanted. But when he want to be alone, you can only be alone on Thursdays. Well, guess what? I'm going to be alone every week because there go the dope. You know what I'm talking about? Because if I want to be alone, then I'm going to be alone. You have to learn that it ain't got nothing to do with you. That's just me. You know what I'm saying? No, I ain't going to say that there now. The brother just here taking y'all give. He said that's why women are told to cultivate a manly disposition in the face of adversity. They told to do it, but they can't handle it, though. They told to do it. They can't handle it. You were told to be tough, ain't you? But you found out I ain't tough as I thought I was, didn't you? Let me tell you something. A lot of dudes find out they ain't tough as they thought they were when they get faced with a real situation. A lot of people find out how tough they really is when life comes. Let's look at verse 17, right? Y'all look at verse 17 through 31 and tell me what you see. Verses Mark chapter 10, verses 17 through 31. Madeline, they ain't watching over you, baby. They don't forget about you. They ain't being mean to you, is he, baby? You in here making grilled cheese sandwich?
I ain't have no bread, so I can't do that.
Oh my gosh.
No bread.
That's pure. Huh? No, you're all right. Don't sit down, baby. Verses 17 through 31, Mark chapter 10. You tell me what you see. This is something we done discussed, so this should be very easy for you to explain it out. And also what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get to points of him using milk and meat before we get to what y'all got for me. That way I can do that in the back end and I ain't got to be trying to rush to get these precepts in beforehand. And what would you base that on?
Because when he was getting the inkling of what he did by coming off the throne, giving up his life.
And there it is. That's why that's eternal judgment. Remember, he was telling him to do the very thing that he had done to get the very reward that he was seeking. See, he led with milk in the beginning. He said, why do you call me good? It ain't but one. See, come over here, right? Let's look at Mark 12. This is also going to be eternal judgment. I'm going to go ahead and throw that out there now. I want you to look at Mark 12. I want you to go from verses 28 to 40 and tell me what you see. You're going to run across two different matters, maybe three. Mark chapter 12, verse 28 through 40. Tell me what you see. I said we're going to hear precepts, but more so right now, I'm trying to see where y'all nigga, you around here eating up my food? That's going to be $32.57. That's high premium Italian turkey sausage. Don't do that. What's up, boy? What's up, boy? Oh, that bread? $2.50 per slice. That microwave, that's another $10. Taking the plate out, that's another $5. Who you telling? You know what I'm talking about? Water, that is literally $2.50 per milliliter. And you steady running it too. Cleaning the chicken, take 15 cents off your tab. That's it. That's it. What y'all got for me? You say to lay your life down like I will for you. What you basing that off of? What verses you using? I'm gonna tell you now. You're gonna want a section 28 to 34 to they self, 35 to 40 to they self. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And you would be right on that one there about laying your life down. Absolutely. You're right on the young ruler. And that eternal judgment also where the young ruler is the reward of having faith in Elohim. That if you're willing to walk away, you can receive more. Well, baby, you got to wait. You got to get your skills up. You're just a young lad. A young lass, I should say.
No 10:77.
I got something for you too, man.
Anybody?
I do. I'm not being funny. I got something for you. You want it? Huh? What you mean you don't know? Do you want it? Oh, you don't think I got something for you, do you? You do? I do. I got something for you. You want it? I got you. Oh, y'all ain't figured it out yet?
Yeah, I would say it's eternal judgment. Yeah.
Well, why is it eternal judgment in 28 through 34? Why is this eternal judgment? See, the key is it's not that we go into a whole bunch of different things. You know what I'm talking about? It's your ability to explain your answer. Because all of them could be eternal judgment. That's irrelevant. But how could you explain it? That's the key.
I was looking at eternal judgment being understanding how, like he said, that's more than the whole burnt offering and sacrifice. Being able to judge that what's greater than Elohim.
See right here, right? Again, look at verse 32, how he show you his eternal judgment. He said, the scribe said unto him, well, master, you have said the truth. There's one Elohim, and there's none other but he. And to love him with all the heart and with all the understanding, with all the soul and with all the strength, and to love neighbor as himself is more than whole burnt offerings and sacrifices. When Yahushua saw that he answered discreetly, he said, not far from the kingdom of Elohim. No man afterwards asked him any questions. Why is this important? Because the scribes believed that they could get in just from the rituals, just from offerings, just from gifts, just from tithing. See, Matthew 23 alerts you to that. And that's why he would tell them, notice the neighbor. Because if you love Yahuwah, you're going to love your neighbor. That's going to go without saying. What his point was, if most people don't love Elohim, that's why he said, oh, you've answered discreetly. You ain't far from the dominion and rule of Elohim because you understand who he is. Most don't understand who he is. Now when you get to 35 and they said how the scribes say that Mashiach is the son of David, but David himself said by the Ruach HaKodesh, Yahuwah said to my Lord, sit you on my right hand till I make your enemies your footstool. David therefore himself called him Lord, from whence he is, then is his son. The common people heard him gladly. Notice who it said heard him gladly. It was the common people. I'm telling you this here because he was giving them meat at this particular junction. And they may not understood what he was saying, but they received it with gladness because that's what they desired. You understand? And he said unto them in his doctrine, beware of the scribes, which love to go in long clothing and salutations in the marketplace, the chief seats in the upper room, uppermost rooms at feasts, which devour widows' houses, and for pretense make long prayers, they shall damnation. Now, what was his point? Well, this was his point in regards to those of eternal judgment. That's right, Saran. This was his point. That the common people could understand that that Mashiach was the son of David and did not expect him to be some great man seeking to be seen, known, and heard. In contrast to the scribes and Pharisees who were evil as the day is long and wanted all of those things. But let's take a look at Sunday in Book of Luke. We'll move right along. Let's see where we want to go with it.
When we did the other, I thought it was the baptism, because he said being like little children, and he was saying let you be born again.
But see, you think about John 3. See, he didn't speak about being born again, but in John 3. The other instance, say in Matthew 18, what he talking about them, he say, you know, you got to become as little children. And when we go back and we examine that law, it was not the youth who murmured and complained against Yahuwah. The youth, because Yahushua, son of Nun, and Caleb were young men. And they came under this man, and they believed and trusted in his promises and served him with the wholeness of heart. And that's why they were able to inherit. Wherefore, the older people were rebellious. They were stubborn. And you know why they were rebellious and they were stubborn? Because they had been accustomed to the captivity, customs, and way of living in Egypt. And it was very difficult for them to let them go. So therefore, they couldn't humble themselves like a younger person who may not have been accustomed. Or, let's put it this way. What I would telling y'all about, because she actually listened to it, because I played it back about 3-4 times, because that old nigga had me dying laughing. That nigga say, nigga, I told you. You know what I'm talking about? But both of these were older men. You take somebody like, say, an Anton Daniels or people like him who may have got a little bit of station in Egypt. They older. They not going to be as amped to leave as somebody who half their age, who already fed up, who already can't stand the oppression and don't want to be here no more. You know what I'm saying? So when you come in with a deliverer like a Yahuwah, who show great signs and wonders to get you up out of here in a place that you already didn't want to be, it's going to be much easier for you to hold fast to his promises because you knew that you ain't leaving nothing anyway. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to be locked in, because there wasn't young people talking about it was better for us in Egypt. He brought us out here to die. Because they mentioned their children, did they not? He came out here to kill us and our children. We might as well go back and get cucumbers, leeks, and melons. And that's why Yahuwah came through and swore in his wrath that nobody over the age of 20 was getting in. You know what I'm talking about? Because when you actually, matter of fact, let me put it to you this way. And I think it's in Matthew 10, but it's referenced in Psalms. Who did he say perfected praise would come from? Mouth of babes. You know what I'm talking about? He already know this here, because he know you already, if you've been living for a while, old people don't like to change. They don't like to change their ways. And instead, I'm telling you this because human beings are creatures of habit. You know what I'm talking about? And when you come with some type of change, you can't bring change at people all at once. They can't handle it. You know what I'm saying? They can't handle it. And people are going to revert back to what they know because that's what makes them comfortable. When you get somebody younger, they haven't had the opportunity to develop bad habits. They haven't had the opportunity to have bad human interactions or relationships or things of that nature. To case in point, for lack of a better example that I can come with the top of my head, that's why you'll find older men wanting a younger woman, because she's going to have less damage than somebody who may be older than her. She's going to have less relationship trauma. She's going to have a less of anything. She's going to be a lot easier to deal with. If you get a woman, she's 35 years old, and she done been with X amount of men, she going to have problems. And it's going to be very difficult for her to get on your program than say somebody who's 12 to 13 years younger than her. Because she ain't going to have all that trauma. See, most of y'all got married pretty young. Y'all ain't follow that track. Ended up 30, 31, 32 years old, all these failed relationships, this, that, there, and the third, and you bitter. You know what I'm talking about? And bitter from whatever you bitter from. This man done hurt you, or this man done did this and did that, and you carrying all that to the next dude. And then you get done with him and you carrying that to the next dude. And then to the next dude. And that dude of value, he's not going to deal with that. He don't want nothing to do with that. And what does Yahushua tell you to do? He told you to lay what? Lay all that stuff down, and he'll give you rest, because he's not going, you can't get past what you got going on if you don't let that stuff go. Remember when Paul was on the boat? Y'all remember when Paul was on the boat? And the boat was doing what? What was the boat doing, Civic? Oh, you ain't familiar with Paul on the boat? Michael, you familiar with Paul on the boat? What? Yes, it is. Oh, Nisha, you looking like you ain't familiar with Paul on the boat. That's how you looking. I ain't say you what. Little Johnny, you familiar with Paul on the boat? It ain't crashed. It's not that it crashed. The boat was sinking. And what they told him to do? Throw that stuff overboard. That was weighing the boat down. Sometimes you got to throw stuff overboard. It's weighing your boat down. You know what I'm talking about? Weighing your boat down. Don't weigh your boat down. Matter of fact, man, because I'm at 1 hour and 16 minutes, I can get this stuff on the back end. For you gentlemen that participated, you can put your answers in the chat from your Hebrews chapter 6, verse 2, dealing with your doctrine of baptisms and resurrection of the dead. Children, I need you to be quiet. Little Johnny, go ahead and give me what you got out of your 2 witnesses for resurrection of the dead. I'll start with you, sir. And for each one of you gentlemen, we will go through what you have to offer. Some people's jump might be faster than others, but everybody's examples will went over.
The resurrection of the dead first, right?
Yes, sir.
I got 2 Kings 4, 32.
Stop. Don't go look at that first. Don't run them all down at the same time. Y'all niggas be in a hurry. That's what y'all used to do when you was in school. You trying to hurry up and find out, is it right? That's what that is. Mm-hmm. We got 2 Kings chapter 4. I go to verse 25. Or you could have just put the resurrection up there first, Sean. Just the resurrection first. Why you over there doing all this talking, Joy? You ain't even got no face. You ain't got no face, Joy. What you trying to do, Joy? Oh, so there's no reason to be crying. You can't because you're only 7. And you're not skilled enough in the text to keep up at the rapid pace of which we're moving. So there's no need to do all the whining and sadness. And just sit over there with your father and watch as you can. Mm-hmm. 2 Samuel chapter 4, verse 25. Oh, let me back that up some. 18 or 17. And the woman conceived and bare a son, that at that season that Elisha said unto her, according to the time of life. And when the child was grown, it fell on the day that went out to his father to the reapers. And he said unto his father, my head, my head. And he said to the lad, carry him to his mother. And when he had taken him and brought him to his mother, he sat her on her knees till noon and died. She went up, laid him on the bed of the man of Elohim, shut upon him, and went out. She called unto her husband and said, send me, I pray you, one of the young men and one of the asses, that I may run to the man of Elohim and come again. He said, where will you go to him today? Neither new moon nor Shabbat. She said, well. Then she sat on an ass and said unto her servant, drive and go forward, slack not, riding for me, except I bid you. She went and came unto the man of Elohim to Mount Carmel, and it came to pass when the man of Elohim saw her far off, that he said, it is said to Gehazi, his servant, behold, is that the Shumanite? Run now, I pray you, to meet her, and say unto her, is it well with you? Is it well with your husband? Is it well with your child? She answered, it is well. And when she came to the man of Elohim to the hill, she caught him by the feet. But Gehazi came near to thrust her away, and the man of Elohim said, let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her, and Yahuwah have hid it from me, and have not told me. Then she said, did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then said he to Gehazi, gird up your loins, and take my staff in your hand, and go your way. If you meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute you, answer him not again, and lay my staff upon the face of the child. The mother of the child said, as Yahuwah live and as your soul live, I will not leave you, and arose and followed her. See, pause. On that screen. Verse 27. Explain it to me. It's in the gospel too. Doing all that screen. You sure? That what you going with? That's your final answer. You put your son on it. Should have went with your son. Get one more money. Yeah, where's it at though? I got you, Saran. I got y'all. Just give me a moment. We're walking around the room. I'll do one. I won't do both of y'all witnesses back to back, just for time's sake. Speed it up. What it say?
The older woman, which was diseased, was an issue of blood 12 years, came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. So she said within herself, touch his garment, I shall be whole. So Yahushua turned him about, and when he saw her, he said, daughter, be of good comfort, thy faith made you whole, and the woman was made whole from that hour.
That ain't the one. You missed two key elements. Do you know what those two elements that you missed?
Yeah, his disciples were like, don't touch him, like that.
And what's the other one?
So, he had to touch him. He know.
There it is.
That's really Luke 8.
Yeah, go ahead and run it in.
A woman having an issue of
get off that chair playing.
Which has spent all her living upon physicians, neither could be healed of any, came behind and touched the border of his garment.
That's right.
Issue of blood.
That's right.
Yahushua said, who touched me?
Who what?
Who touched me?
Mm-hmm.
When all denied, Peter and they that were with him said, Master, the multitude thronged thee and pressed thee, and said, thou who touched me? And Yahushua said, somebody had touched me, for I have perceived that virtue is going out of me.
And guess what is here that's going to lead into? Laying on of hands also. What does the laying on of hands represent in that New Testament? I got you, Ish. What that laying on the hands represent? Deceiving the spirit. And we're going to see that. That's what he did to the boy. That's what he did to that woman, ain't it? Okay. No, I had to have you find that because this is your choice. So if I see something extra, you got to explain it. You ain't going to get no help. No lifelines, no ask a friend, no phone home or whatever they got on there. Let's come on back to the 2 Kings, man. I'm going to let y'all know Sharon's got Isaiah 26 and 19, 1 Kings 17, 8 and 24. Ish got Psalm 17 and Job 14. Sean's got Genesis 1, Job 38. And I guess that's his other stuff to go along with it. Brother Reynolds got Psalms 37. I'm in 2 Kings chapter 4. I'm in verse 31. Gehazi passed on before them and laid the staff upon the face of the child. There was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him and told him, saying, the child is not awake. When Elisha was coming to the house, behold, the child was dead and laid upon his head. He went in therefore and shut the door upon them twain. And he prayed unto Yahuwah. And he went up and lay upon the child and put his mouth upon his mouth and his eyes upon his eyes and his hand upon his hands and stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. Why is it important that he put his what? His mouth on his mouth, his eyes on his eyes, and his hands on his hands. Why is that important? Oh, that's for him.
You gotta put on y'all shop.
There you go. How would you explain that?
First, I would say, when Jacob put on Esau, I don't know if
when you look at your eyes and the mouth and the mouth, the mouth is more so what we just talked about last night, refreshing. You see the ruach. Then you have eyes to see and ears to hear. Then you can be saved. And now you'll have life in you. Very well. Moving right along. Because I'm going to just go this way, because this is how y'all see it. Come on, Stanley. Give me your first one, please.
For the baptism, I got
We're not doing baptism.
on the resurrection. I had said Ezekiel 37 last time, but we doing a new one.
It wasn't no new. You just shared earlier.
I text you on one.
I didn't read any of it. I told you I wasn't going to read. I didn't. When he called, he did not stop you?
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I said I ain't want to know. Yeah, no, I didn't even. I ain't want to have. I didn't want to come in with no thoughts on nothing that anybody had.
Ezekiel 37. Sit down.
Yeah, because Sean did that earlier today, and I ain't read it. I said, just share it with me later. Now with Ezekiel 37, because the chapter is long. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Since Ezekiel 37 is long, we're going to make this one brief. Because we done dealt with this before, since you should know it. Verse 5. And again, this is when you're dealing with this here, you're dealing with the doctrine of resurrection of the dead. That's not milk. That's a doctrine that you didn't see Mashiach walk around and talk with the people openly about on a regular basis. The first time he told, who's the first person he told he was going to resurrect from the dead? First person that he told that he was going to resurrect from the dead. You say Lazarus? No, it wasn't Lazarus. Like literally said, and on the third day I'm gonna get up.
Oh, the first person he told it to.
First person he told it to.
Peter.
No, he told that to Peter. You know what I'm saying? Really, all the apostles, but he was talking to Peter. You know what I'm saying? What was after a conversation with Peter? It's the first time that he said anything about resurrecting from the dead to all is when he resurrected Lazarus. And he was talking to Martha directly then. So remember this here, right? Each time he had that conversation, that was with conversations with people who believe. That's not a conversation you go have with unbelievers. You know what I'm talking about? That's not something you walk around and be like, that's why they look at you crazy. Resurrected from the dead. You don't have a conversation like that with unbelievers. They're not going to catch it. You know what I'm talking about? Yeah, they're not going to catch that. Matter of fact, when he transfigured, what did he told his disciples to do? How many disciples did he take with him? And what did he told those 3 men to do? Till when? Till after he resurrected from the dead. That's when he told them. Then you tell him. You know what I'm talking about? And of course, when he told them about doing that, that was after he told them that he would be killed and resurrected from the dead. Because he had told them that he'd be killed and resurrected from the dead the previous chapter. You know what I'm talking about? See, resurrection of the dead, that's meat. That's not no run of the mill. Let's just run and go tell everybody that. 37:5. Ezekiel, thus saith Yahuwah Elohim unto these bones, behold, I will cause breath to enter into you, and you shall live. You just seen it in 2 Kings. You seen that last night in Genesis chapter 2. You seen that in John when he breathed on them and he said, receive you the Ruach HaKodesh, because without the breath of Elohim, you ain't got no life in you. But they telling you this, you waking up to the knowledge of your heritage and your nationality. That nigga's a fool. He said, I will lay sinews upon you and will bring flesh upon you and cover you with skin and put breath in you, and you shall live, and you shall know that I am Yahuwah. When Yahushua resurrected from the dead in Luke 24, what did he tell those men? They saw him and they were affrighted as if they saw what? As if they saw what? Oh, y'all don't know what they saw. Well, you better go look at them. As a spirit. And he said what? What did the Lord say back to them? So he got flesh. And when you look these words up, sinew, flesh, you resurrect from the dead, you're going to have what the flesh, just like this here. But you ain't going to have no blood in you. You know why you ain't going to have no blood in you? You look confused. Oh, you ain't never been here for that conversation, have you? Oh, ain't that a shame? Well, when you go back and you look in the beginning in Genesis chapter 2, when he took Eve out of Adam, do you know what Adam said in return after that happened? Oh, yeah, you know. You've been to a wedding or two in your lifetime, ain't it? Oh. Well, that's not going to work for me, is it? He said, this is flesh of my flesh and what? Now, when you're dealing with a person and in Leviticus 17, do you know what he said the life is in? I'm talking to her because she don't know. Y'all know this stuff. She don't know. That's right, Each. That's spot on right there, my G. The life is in the blood. So when he say handle me, a spirit don't have flesh and bones as you see me have. The key component why he said flesh and bone, because Yasharal is his wife. It's still flesh of my flesh, bone of my bone. It's still showing you that he the second Adam and it's one man, one wife, as it's been from the beginning. It's never changed. But here's the difference. When he got poked in the side, what came out of him? Blood and water. So blood and water, guess what? A human being is how many percent water? What they say? What it is? About 90? About 80? You know what I'm saying? Sure. I thought it was, either way it go, you a lot of blood and you a lot of water. Yeah, Saran confirmed that. Confirms with your assessment that it's 70. I don't know. Somebody can look it up. You know what I'm saying? So guess what happens? If I take all the blood and water out of you, guess what you finna do? You're going to die. So there's a reason why he was emptied out of all the blood and water. Because remember, he didn't go through rigor mortis. I don't know how long it takes for the blood and the water in your body to dissipate upon decease. But I wager it take longer than 3 days. You know what I'm talking about? If we're not talking about modern times now where they embalm you or drain all that stuff out. You know what I'm talking about? Because I would wait, and I don't know anything about that. I'm not a mortician. I don't even know how a nigga can do that for a living. But that's just me. You know what I'm talking about? I just couldn't work with dead bodies all the time. You know what I'm saying? But he emptied all that out because he was going to be filled with the Ruach later. I always say it's the Ruach that quickeneth. The flesh profiteth nothing. The words that I speak unto you, they are Ruach and they are life, because it's the breath of Elohim that get life. So when he say handle me, spirits don't have flesh and bone. Because when you see a spirit, if you see a Malachim, they can look like a man, but they're not a man. They don't got no blood. They ain't got no bones in them. Remember, they are what? Ministering spirits described as what? Flames of fire. They can come in the appearance of a man, but they're not a man. You know what I'm saying? Yahuwah manifested himself as a man. You know what I'm talking about? So therefore, he had everything that a man has. That's why he said flesh and what? blood cannot inherit. Didn't say flesh and bone couldn't inherit. He didn't say flesh couldn't inherit. He said flesh and blood can't get in. If you flesh and blood, guess what that means gonna happen? You got to die. You know what I'm saying? If you flesh and bone, which meaning that the life that is in you is the ruach, and you can never die because the ruach of Elohim never perishes. So that's what I'm talking about, the aspect, because look what he called. He called them dry what? Bones. You notice not now time he said anything about blood going in these bodies. He said, I give you bones, I give you ruach, I give you flesh, just like the Lord. He didn't say nothing about putting no blood in them, did he? Y'all happen to see that? Because I didn't see it. That's why I'm just mentioning this here, because it ties to him literally resurrecting from the dead himself. And you got these ignorant men telling you this is you waking up in your captivity. Not only, see, that's milk that's coming out of a dry path. That ain't even milk, it's just wind. That's what you get. You know what I'm talking about? Some of you ladies who you done breastfed when it was over with. You ever seen that baby latch on, ain't no milk coming up out of them paps? That baby mad. That when you know it's over. He looking at you like, where the milk at? And you like this here. I ain't got nothing but wind for you, baby. Nothing but wind. Nothing but wind. That's all you're getting is some wind. Well, get what you getting when you go to these doggone spots where the children are being killed because of bereavement. You got miscarrying wombs and dry paps. Ain't no milk in them titties. If you got a dude come tell you that Ezekiel 37 is about you waking up to them, you being an Israelite, that's some dry milk. You ever had powdered milk? That junk sucks. You ever had carnation milk in the can? No, I ain't talking about cooking with it, nigga. I'm talking about that's the only milk in the house. You got to mix it with water and eat your cereal with it. Huh? That junk sucks. You can't eat cereal with no sugar with that. It just, you ever ate cereal with water? I ain't had a heart. Oh, you did it, Mike? You wasn't that poor. You just did it just to do it. You ran out of milk and you couldn't wait. So you say, bump it, I'm putting some water in here. You need to go clean your face.
Right, you hear me? I pour that junk in the bowl.
Yeah, I know a little something, man. That nigga said, well, you know the struggle, huh? He said, I hated that milk with my cereal. It was horrible. It was horrible. That's all I did, because I ain't had a heart to pour no water on. You know what I'm saying? Then you know what? You know when you really poor? You want to know when you really poor? When you go in the refrigerator and it's a big pot of nothing but rice and eggs. And you got to eat that for a week. Shoot, same difference. Same difference. Johnny like, shoot, I know what my mama had me eating all type of nigga food.
You gotta like drain the milk from the spoon and eat the cereal. The milk, the powdered milk, you get a little moisture and drain.
You sound like you did that a lot.
With hard times.
In the city. Little moisture. Come on, man. What you got? Give me your first one.
I did Genesis 40.
We got Genesis 40.
Probably jump down about 19.
40 and 19.
Or 18.
Even further than that. You got to go to about 12. But I'm going to make it quick because we had an hour and 40. And it's still about 4 more men in here. So when we look at about verse 13, it said, yet within 3 days, Pharaoh shall lift up your head and restore you unto your place, and shall deliver Pharaoh's cup in your hand after the former manner when you was his butler. And I will ascend to my father and sit upon his right hand. Well, he can't do that until he what? Resurrect from the dead. And what is that? That's Isaiah 14. And I will send above the heights of the clouds, and I will be like the Most High. You know what I'm talking about? Because my throne will be exalted above the stars. Just like Pharaoh's butler's throne was exalted, or Joseph was exalted above the people. Because at the name of Joseph, every knee was going to bow. Well, you so phony, boy. Verse 14. But think on me when it shall be well with you, and show kindness, I pray you, unto me, and make mention of me unto Pharaoh, and bring me out of this house. And you know what that is? He said, when you enter into your kingdom, remember me. Let me show you. Come on over here to Matthew 27. Y'all want to know? If y'all didn't know, this is why the thief on the stake got saved. Not all this other junk these wicked people be talking about. This is why he got saved. He got to fulfill the book. Muffin Man, you ain't going to get to have no fun today, Muffin Man. What I mean by that is what I said by it. Why you interjected in the men's conversation? Did anybody talk to Joy? No. Anybody talk to you? No. Don't be a busybody. Don't be a body that's busy. Just be Eugene.
I do that.
Yeah, I know you do it. You need to stop. Nobody don't like no woman always interjecting her thoughts when nobody asks. That's not ladylike. Praise the Lord, man. Oh no. Hold on, man. I don't even know if I want to use that. Come to Luke, man. Who said Who bucket? Sure. I ain't got the whoop. Just coming over here is punishment enough. Why you want Eugene to get popped, man? Eugene ain't did nothing. I mean, Joseph ain't did nothing. Don't do your brother like that, man. 23 and 39. Don't do your brother like that, man. That ain't cool. Why you want him to get in trouble? But he wasn't doing that. Don't do your brother like that. That ain't cool, bro. I'm saying don't be falsely accusing your brother. But see, you know what would have happened? Judgment, why would you would have thought that got Joseph popped, and you would have got popped. And nothing would have happened to him. Because you were trying to get him in trouble. He ain't did nothing. That ain't right. That ain't right. Yes, sir. One of the malefactors which were hanged railed on him, saying, if you be Mashiach, save yourself and us. But the other answering rebuked him, saying, do you not fear Elohim, seeing you are in the same condemnation? Was not those men in the same condemnation with Joseph? And he took it. I'm sorry, I'm in the wrong place. And when he indeed justly for received the due reward for our deeds, but this man had done nothing amiss. Let me ask you something. Had Joseph did anything wrong to get in that cell? He said unto Yahushua, Lord, remember me when you come into your kingdom. Yahushua said unto him, truly I say unto you, today you shall be with me in paradise. Now the butler was a ruler in Pharaoh's kingdom, was he not? And what was Joseph asking him to remember him to do? To remember him when he came back into power. That's where that come from. That ain't on no, he being merciful and this, that, there, and the third. Man, that's book. Man, he fulfilling book. You understand? And all that was a part of the resurrection of the dead. You know what I'm talking about? That Yahushua would have mercy on those who trusted in him. And that if you trusted in him, that you would enter into his kingdom and reign with him. You know why he get to reign with him? Because he suffered with him. Right down there in there. Did you see that? Look at the Lord. 40 and 15? For indeed I was stolen away out of the land of the Abarim, and here also have I done nothing that they should have put me into the dungeon. You see that? Joseph ain't did nothing wrong. That's what the other dude had to tell him. The man ain't did nothing wrong. When the chief baker saw the interpretation was good, he said to Joseph, I also was in my dream, and behold, I had 3 white baskets on my head. In the uppermost basket there was all manner of baked meats for Pharaoh, and the birds did eat the meat out of the basket upon my head. And Joseph answered and said, this is the interpretation thereof. The 3 baskets are 3 days. Yet within 3 days shall Pharaoh lift up your head from off you, and shall hang you on a tree, and the birds shall eat your flesh from off of you. And it shall come to pass the 3rd day, which was Pharaoh's birthday, that he made a feast unto all his servants. And he lifted up the head of the chief of the baker, and the chief baker among his servants. He restored the chief baker unto his butlership again, and he gave the cup into Pharaoh's hand. But he hanged the chief baker as Joseph interpreted them. Yet did not the chief butler remember Joseph, but forgot. See, let me tell y'all something, right? Because you know a lot of brews say that's why you don't celebrate birthdays, because somebody died on that day, right? Ain't that what they like to say? I'm going to show you something dumb niggas in the Bible. Because, you know, we got a lot of dumb, not y'all, I'm talking about the dumb people who come back around later.
Celebrate birthdays when somebody died.
You'll have Bruce say you shouldn't celebrate birthdays because there's not a direct spot that say don't celebrate birthdays. So they'll point out in the text that every time somebody had a birthday, somebody died. So because somebody died, you shouldn't celebrate birthdays because somebody died. I'm just telling you. and I would agree. Now, am I saying that to say, hey, go celebrate? Y'all already know, I don't care if you celebrate your birthday or not. You know what I'm talking about? That's a personal deal. You know what I'm talking about? I don't make no big deal out of it because it's grossly irrelevant. You'd have to be careful with it because celebrating your birthday can lead to self-aggrandizement, meaning you end up worshiping yourself, which is why the Satanic Church stated that that was one of their favorite days of the year for people to celebrate their birthday because it could turn into a day of self-worship. All jokes aside, when we mention that about women, I've already told you that women are more inclined to narcissistic tendencies than men because narcissistic tendencies is self-worship. That's why you see more women, regardless of the age, go all out and want all that attention for themselves on their birthday versus men. You know what I'm saying? Now, don't get me wrong. Yes, some men want all that attention too. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm just talking about natural inclination because just because you have narcissistic tendencies don't mean you're a narcissist. But a narcissist is a self-worshiper, somebody who worships themselves. If you understand the story of Narcissus. Y'all are familiar with who he is, right? Oh, you don't know who he is? What did these people teach you in New York City public schools? But they say New York's supposed to be one of the best school systems in the country. That's what they say. Shoot, white people. They do, though. They do. I cannot refute that at all. They do. Well, Narcissus is a Roman, a Greek myth, one of them people. But he fell in love with his own reflection in a lake, and then he jumped in the water and killed himself. For the short version, because it's more interspersed into that. Because, you know, he had never seen himself before. So he didn't understand how beautifully and handsome he was. So one day as he's strolling and he looked at a body of water and he seen his reflection and he fell in love with himself and dived in there in order to be with himself that he didn't know that was himself. And he drowned. Considering that
He wanted to hit himself.
Considering this is Greco-Roman mythology, yeah, maybe so.
He was clear. He inquired.
Of all the people that I've had a conversation with about narcissists, you're the first one to say that. I did also. I thought it didn't have to be mentioned. Nigga, you look at a boy and decide, you know what? Let me get that boy. You like boys. He dove for that boy. That nigga say, look at that man. Oh my goodness. Look at the jawline on that one. And there you go. He's had strong cheekbones. Looking boy. But yeah, that's an actual Roman myth or Greek myth, one of the two. You know what I'm saying? And that's where the term for a self-worshiper, that's where the term comes from. So narcissism comes from a Greek or Roman character by the name of Narcissus. And it's basically someone who is a self-worshiper. And women are more inclined to do that than men are. Naturally, unprovoked. You know what I'm saying? It's the father's job to like tamp that out. And the reason being is because women are the fairer sex. Little boys don't walk around and people just tell them how beautiful and handsome they are. Little girls hear from the time that they can understand words how pretty they are, how beautiful they are. Now imagine if you ladies know, you probably been told this in your childhood. You get told this every day for 10 years, 11 years. And now let's get to the point that everybody is beautiful in their own way. But then let's say this here. What if you one of them actual women who are actually considered to be universally gorgeous no matter where you go? And you know it. Because see, I done been around some women who they know they look good. Not just, oh, you telling me that. They know it. That's a whole nother level of conceit. You know what I'm saying? Whole nother level. You know what I'm saying? I just seen a whole bunch of people in the group I'm in talking about, I don't understand the deal with Rihanna. Why are these niggas going so crazy about this woman? And I would understand that also. Because if she was just a regular chick in your neighborhood, I don't think dudes would be falling all out about her like they do. You know what I'm saying? Is she an ugly woman? No. But if she is by no means the most beautiful woman I've ever seen. And that's not because of her forehead. You know what I'm talking about? Not at all. But it come into, I say that because, you know, women amp men, certain men up because of social status. Dudes do it too. There was a time period, man, dudes was all going all crazy about Beyonce. And the crazy part, they do it, they know this be another man's wife. That's the part that tripped me out. How you niggas lusting after a woman you know going home to lay with another man? It's something wrong with you. See, niggas go to hitting this like this here. And how Jay-Z get with a woman like that? See, this is the thing that the difference is what you have now versus maybe back then. Because now you want women want pretty men. You know what I'm saying? Like they want that man to be super, super duper handsome. When you know that's never always been the case. You always see extremely attractive women with ugly dudes. Not because he necessarily got money, because the woman's supposed to be the fairer sex. She ain't necessarily supposed to pick a man based on how he look. Not to say that the woman wants to be with an ugly dude, but if he's got masculinity, if he has personality, if he has leadership and other things, that's actually what's supposed to attract the woman. The man's supposed to technically be attracted based on how she looks. Like ain't nobody, I don't think Rachel looked at Jacob and said, oh man, he's a fairly handsome man. It said that Jacob found her to be attractive. Like Mother Sharona mentioned like Biggie. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, definitely. You know, like I said, he said the same thing. Rihanna's cute, but she ain't gorgeous. You know what I'm talking about? Because they going back and forth about how she can end up being a baby mama. Because she trash. Garbage. Because as beautiful as she is, she stays in shape and nobody wanted her. You know what I'm talking about? And when she got to 30 plus, she had to turn around and get with the dude that had been in her friend zone for 10 years. That means she trash. That means when you looked around, you ain't had no other options. ASAP Rocky it is. She ain't no, look here, man, fame and status does not change anything for a woman. If you're not a good woman to be around, if you don't have feminine attributes and you have different issues, you'll be 30 plus, wall coming, and you're going to have to pick the last train leave. You know what I'm saying? Because guess what? Her money don't mean nothing. See, I know a lot of dudes say money don't mean nothing. I explained it to you before. A woman's money don't mean nothing to a man, as I told you before, because you not going to take care of him. Rihanna got $1 billion. Dude's like, how could he leave her? She got $1 billion. Nigga, she not finna take care of this man. Guess what? If you could get a man to take care of, that means he's a less than desirable man. You don't want him. So guess where you ended up at? Last train leaving. As beautiful as Rihanna may be, don't nobody want her. She had a billionaire before. He banged her up and sent her on her way. And ain't want no children from her.
She did that because she knows she getting old and she wants some kids.
She getting old. Ain't nobody looking around. Yeah. And guess what? The common people that put it looking at, yeah, that nigga won. That's Rihanna. But niggas who got money looking at her like, nigga, that's a freak hoe. That's the part that we don't understand. You looking at these people like they up here, but in the circles that they run in, she a freak hoe. You know how you know that? Because ain't nobody married her. Ain't nobody married her. If you are any woman of value and worth and you round men of production and nobody marries you, that says more about women than it does the men. I'm telling you, at least a couple. As trash as Kim Kardashian is, she on 3. Because he a fool. One thing you ain't never supposed to do, if you was with her before, you don't let her double back. Now she been used up and old. She can't do nothing for you. Now you finna marry her again. And guess what? That's a free code. You know what? Because A-Rod looking at married hoe for what? And then he said no. And you know she wanted to be with A-Rod. Nigga, she wasn't gonna do better than him. He ain't touching no A-Rod as far as his accolades and wealth. Shoot, that didn't even matter. It wouldn't even matter. He ain't got A-Rod money. He ain't got no A-Rod money. A-Rod worth about $500 million. Yeah, he ain't got no A-Rod money. You know what I'm saying? But that's the main part. See, he a fool like Jason Black was talking about, because, see, this is what a lot of hoes do. When I say hoes, I mean hoes in a literal sense. When you're young, and it was a nigga who was around you when you were young, but you ain't really want him. You want to toss that cooch around, get your back broke, this, that, there, and the third. And then when your skin go to flaking, you know, you start getting them little laugh lines, the bags get a little deeper under your eyes. You want to try to run back to the dude that you ain't want to fool with when you were 22. Now you done packed on a little extra weight, maybe got a couple bastard churn. Now you want to hit him up talking about, hey, big head, how you been? And guess what? He gonna be the damn fool to take you back. You know what I'm talking about? You didn't want me when you was in your prime looking your best. That's how dudes be when they go to their high school reunion. And it was the chick they used to like that were fine. Then they come back. Now she look like the lunch lady. You know what I'm talking about? Now she talking about, hey, I ain't seen you in a while. How you doing? And you looking at his whole life. I'm disgusted. Get away from me. You know what I'm saying? Cause see that nerdy little boy that you, I don't want him. I want this nigga over here. That was raining on you like SWV and all that other nasty stuff they like to do. Now he done grew up and became successful. Now you the lunch lady with some bastard churn, and you want him to take care of you and your bastard churn, and he like no. And that's why a lot of men get ridiculed for not doing certain things. And that's what dudes really mean when they say you wouldn't pick a Russell Wilson before. Because you're going to overlook him to go mess with this nigga and this nigga. Then when you get the trauma and make the bad decisions, then you want him to come save you when he would have treated you like this before you got with them niggas, but he didn't appeal to you. That's why the women say, when you know better, you do better. Learning experience. That's cap. They don't learning experience. You've been used up by the niggas that you want, and you know that he was going to be there, and he wasn't going anywhere. That's why you came back. That's what women don't understand when they hear dudes talk about that, and they think and they discussing Russell Wilson, because a lot of them dudes probably was that dude who would have done for you what Russell Wilson do for Sierra, but you overlooked it. You wanted the thug nigga, the street nigga, the athlete, the dude with some swag who dressed nice, but he didn't give a damn about you. And you overlooked him, the nerd, the quiet dude, the intelligent guy, the hard work. You overlooked him. Now you're 25, 30, 35. Now here you come. Got a couple children in tow. You remember me? Yeah, I remember you. Girl. He always wanted you anyway. You already knew that nigga remembered you. You was banking on it. Happens a lot. It's definitely a nigga I went to school with, definitely did it. I said, but that nigga, that crazy, man. Nigga, she wasn't right. Man, she got pregnant when we was in high school. She wasn't trying to fool with that nigga when we was in high school. He turned back around, married 10, 15 years later. I said, boy, you a damn fool.
That's tough.
Because he always wanted her. And she ain't even in peak physical shape for him no more.
That's tough.
Come on. Jelly roll. It ain't right.
That's not right.
You know why it ain't right? Because he a damn fool for going for it. Oh, here we go. Birthday. Birthday in Hebrew is not birthday. I didn't want y'all to know that. You know what day it is? You know what word it is? It's the word for day. What's the word for day, Kalisha?
That's right.
Huh?
What you call? Go get that.
What'd you say? The word for day? Day? That's not the word for day.
What is it?
Deidre, what's the word for day?
Tell them.
Oh, you forgot. That is this is abominable. You ain't try hard enough, nigga. What's the word for day, Lil Johnny? He's looking it up. You don't count. Who know without it up? Shayla. There it is. Shayla put all y'all niggas to shame. Yom Kippur. Your finger. Yom. Day. Day. Oh, Yom.
Hebrew one more.
They put it on the chat. So it don't say birthday. It say Yom. So what it really actually says is it came to pass on the third day, Pharaoh's day. Or day of Pharaoh. No birthday. Pharaoh's Yom.
That sounds just like the day you chose to let.
Now they got Yalad before it. So you have the born day. That's what they would have. So you got Yalad Yom. Pharaoh's Yalad Yom. The day he was begotten. Guess what? When you turn around and look at it, it came and passed on the third day. That when it was Yahusha's birthday.
There you go. That's it.
There it is. They don't want to hear that. And did he make a feast of all his servants? We already read it, Luke 24. And guess what? He lifted up the head. And he restored him and gave him Pharaoh's cup. There it is. And guess what that take you back to? The eternal judgment when he told him about David sitting at the right hand. Ain't that what he said? There it is. Give me what you got, Darius. Huh? Jonah chapter 2, y'all. What you got, Civic?
Isaiah 26 and 19.
Yeah, somebody else got that too.
All right, Daniel 12 and 2.
We're going to duplicate. We'll use your Daniel 12 and 2. Somebody already got Isaiah 26 and 19. So Jonah 2. 2 and 1. I got to go back up. These boys stuff at. What you got, sir? Well, we'll use Exodus 2. What you got, Monte? 2 and 23. We come back around that too. Jonah 2 and 1. Then Jonah prayed unto Yahuwah, his Elohim out of the fish's belly. I cried by reason of my affliction. My Elohim, why have you forsaken me? He heard me out of the belly of hell, cried I, and you heard my voice, just the same way that he heard Abel's blood cry from the ground to him. You can stop reading out loud, please. For you cast me into the deep in the midst of the seas, and the floods compassed me about. All your billows and your waves passed over me. Then said, I'm cast out of your sight, yet will I look again toward your Kadash temple. Your waters compassed me about to the soul. The depth closed me round about. The weeds wrapped about my head. I went down to the bottom of the mountains. The earth with her bars was about me forever. For yet you brought up my life from corruption. And of course, you know, it said he's vomited him out. That ain't talking about no man in no whale's belly, which is why Yahushua said in Matthew 16, he said there'll be no sign given to it but the sign of the prophet Jonah. Because that's dealing with resurrection of the dead conversation. Daniel 12. You mentioned, that was yours, Jonah 2. Don't mind me. I'm old. Daniel 12 and 1. Stop playing. Sit down and be still. Y'all willing, we'll probably come back. I probably have to stretch this out. We'll deal with your immersions next week. Because we weren't gonna be able to get all these in here anyway. So long. I'd have had to start from the beginning and no word added around that at all. No, when they're in person. I mean, I can stretch out this here with line on line for days because I can integrate verses 15, 16, 17, and 18 into it to stretch it out. But I just want y'all to understand how this is meat. This ain't milk. Let me ask y'all something. How many times y'all went to church and it wasn't Easter and they talked about this man resurrecting from the dead? How many times did you go to church and they talked about you resurrecting from the dead? Huh? I'm asking for a reason because outside of Easter, they might mention Jesus rose for your sin, but they ain't gonna tell you that you gonna ride. They gonna tell you you going to heaven. So how he ride from the dead, but I'm going to heaven? That don't even make sense. But you know why it don't make sense to you? Because you ain't even stop and critically think he rose from the dead, but I'm going to heaven when I die. Ooh.
They always got a purpose for tithes.
And I asked the same question to y'all. How many times did y'all go to church? Because I got to deal with church first. Because some of y'all ain't been around a lot of brews for that question to be relevant for you. You know what I'm saying? As far as brews, if you've been around other brews, how often do they talk about him resurrecting from the dead? How often do they talk about you resurrecting from the dead? You know what I'm saying? Because I understand that's me. When you a full age, only those of full age can have that conversation. If you ain't a full age, you can't have that conversation. Can you imagine little Bible study come in here talking about you gonna resurrect from the dead? Imagine if Bird did it. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I know they definitely talk to you about dying and going to heaven. I don't even know where they get that from. I do know where they get that from, and this is my speculation. My personal opinion, I think that they tell you that you're gonna die and go to heaven because of after his resurrection when he ascended back. You know what I'm talking about?
Going up yonder to be with my Lord.
Anyway, they say we're gonna meet him in the air.
Going up yonder. That's what I come from. That's what they used to always say.
That's what they used to say to you. I'm going up yonder to be with the Lord. Look at the after my look. I sing it all the time. Look. These are like they said, I be a granddaddy with that.
Hey, but look, they right, but they sing that.
I'm going to heaven. You look like you'd be on the front row. Yeah, see, Deidre looked like she was on the front row. She one of them people.
I was.
Oh, you are too?
I used to like the church.
You know what we gonna have to do? We gonna have to put a choir together just for this nigga to be. I need to see that. I need to see that because I know you gonna do it. I didn't say you didn't like. I ain't said nothing about that. I'm talking about to see y'all actually. We know you gonna do it. Shoot, man. Shoot. Well, like I said, man, if we could have went, man. Trad told me them boys did praise and worship at that event last week, 12, 13 hours straight. That we told people out. I mean, but that's what type of event it was, though. It was a praise and worship event because the brother who threw it, that's his preference. Like he liked, niggas rapping, but he was like, it's a lot of people who in the word who don't come from that and they don't want to hear that. You know what I'm saying? So he literally last week put together an event that was a majority praise and worship event, and try to say them boys were going about 12 hours. You know what I'm saying? I think Trav coming with a whole album for you. Just with that. Look at you. I'm ready. I like to sing. Oh, you can sing?
I can't sing.
I like it more so because they have to repeat songs.
It is, and it's also easier for the children to catch on and to recite and to remember and hold in their heart. Oh, absolutely. Because I can tell you, right? Because I don't do it no way. You know what I'm talking about? She do it from time to time. I told her like this here because Buffett still remembers certain songs like that because they stick. You'll be surprised how much them children enjoy them records, especially if you play them regularly and not playing them because you want them to hear, because you playing them because that's what you listen to. And I know that John different versus a rap record, because yeah, they'll hear that rap record, you rapping about the Lord, but it don't hit the thing as if they hear somebody singing. And that's what the brother point was with the event. You know what I'm saying? Because he preferred that. Get off of that before you break. And I ain't got no problem with it. I always tripped on brews who be like they was against praise and worship. I know why they was against it, because they feel like it remind them of church, and they be wanting to distance themselves from anything that reminds them of church. But you know what I'm saying? But oh, you say brothers be supplanting the resurrection of the dead with chariots and UFOs? Probably so. Oh no, that's that. Don't even worry. Ain't even get it. Don't even worry. Hey, Muffin. Where we at? We're gonna get ready to wrap this up. Daniel 12:1. And at that time, Michael shall stand, the great prince will stand for the children of your people, and there shall be a time of trouble, since never was, since there was a nation. To that same time, and that time your people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. Many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, some to shame and everlasting contempt. Where would you find that at in the gospel, Civic? Look at it. He was ready. What you had for me? You had Genesis 2.
That's right.
Exodus chapter 2. What verses in Exodus chapter 2?
Time to load my burner. I'm gonna shoot.
You said 2:23. Monte had Genesis 2:23. That's when Adam was put in a deep sleep. Eve was taken out inside. That is equating to Yahushua going in a deep sleep, and Yasharal getting taken out inside, of course, after he got hit in the side to have that hole for that woman to be removed from his rib. You understand? For the oneness of the body. That's where you get the resurrection of the dead from that. Forgive me for going quick, because we don't want to be on here too long. I still got to get the brothers who got verses on here. Genesis 1:11-12 is what Sean got. Hold on, I'm finna get I mentioned that one now. You got Exodus 2. Just let me know the verse you got. I'm gonna hit that. When you start that one, but wait, I'm talking about where's your key point at that you're making from? Oh, you say in the river. 11 and 12. Sean used Genesis 1:11 and 12, dealing with the yield, the earth bringing forth grass, herb yielding seed within itself. And of course, that's replication of the sons of Elohim, and that can only be done with the resurrection of the dead. Saran got Isaiah 26:19. Your dead men shall live with my dead body, which of course takes you to those who resurrected with him. In Matthew 27, when the saints that slept arose. We talked about Job 14 on Wednesday, so each got Psalm 17. And when you look at Psalm 17, pick it up at verse 13. Then we'll look at Psalms 37. That's what Brother Reynolds got. I already figured you had to be verse 15 specifically. I'll go grab Job 14 and 14 and 19 and 26 on general principle. 17 and 13 of Psalms. Arise, O Yahuwah, disappoint him. Cast him down, deliver my soul from the wicked, your sword. From men, your hand, O Yahuwah, from men of the world. Their portion in life, and whose belly you fill with your head tread, with your head. They are full of children, leave the rest of theirs to their maids. As for me, I will behold your face in righteousness. I shall be satisfied when I awake with your likeness. Remember what that is, the dead of Mashiach shall rise first. That verse 14, there's a whole lot of stuff with that. That's something totally different. That's something when you talk about the men of the world. Let their children have this here, kill them, and let their babies take it over, because that's the only reward they're going to get. Let your name be written in the earth, you wicked bastard. Job 14. I think we hit verse 14 Wednesday night, but if we didn't, we'll see. And of course, you know, he got the one I need. And we talk about verse 14. If a man die, shall he live? As the days of my appointed time will I wait till my change come. See, we talked about that Wednesday, and I go right with that Psalm 17 and 15. You have an appointed time where there's going to be a change. The question is, will you be changed into the esteemed body of Yahushua like Paul talked about in Philippians? Or will you be changed into the lake where the worm dies not and the fire shall not be quenched?
What about that?
Well, I was 14 and 14 each. Okay. And of course, each listed the best one, not the best one, but the one that I always gonna give you. You know what it is. Job 19 and 25. Why you out there talking while I'm talking? You're being rude and disrespectful. Joseph, you just being a baby. Just go outside. You just being a baby. Just go out. You ain't a baby, are you? You're a big boy, right? Or you not? Because if you a baby, we gotta treat you like a baby. That means we gotta burp you. Gotta put a diaper on. You want a diaper? You want a diaper? But you say you're a baby. So you're a big boy. What are you? So we gotta go get him a diaper. He needs a diaper. 19 and 25. For I know my Redeemer live, and he shall stand at the ladder upon the earth. And after my skin destroy this, yet in my flesh shall I see Elohim, whom I shall see for myself, and my eyes shall behold and not another. My reins be consumed within me. Again, the dead of Mashiach going to rise first. You are going to see him. And we're going to end in John 11 when we get to the end. But let me get Psalms 37 for Brother Reynolds. Little snotty. Hey, children, I just want you to know, as soon as I'm done, get out my door. See, it's a nice yard, man. You got to remember to cut the yard, man. You can cut the backyard.
I ain't know that more.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, Psalms 37, 7 and 11. Oh, I see why he would go that one now. It's going to be hard to pull resurrection out of dead out of this one here. Rest in Yahuwah and wait patiently for him. Fret not yourself because of him who prosper in his way, because of the wicked man who bring wicked devices to pass. Cease from anger, forsake wrath. Fret not yourself anywise to do evil. And that's, of course, the verse in Ephesians. Be angry, sin not. And let not the sun go down on your wrath. Y'all remember what that means, to let not the sun go down on your wrath? That means as angry as you is, as much as you want to have vengeance, when the sun go down, you need to let it go. What you carrying that into the next day for? That's basically what that means. That's why I say forsake your wrath, cease from anger. Because remember what the book of Proverbs tell you about anger, it rests where? In the bosom of a fool. You know what I'm talking about? That's why he tell you to be angry and sin not. Because see, when you get angry, you get emotional. And when you get emotional, you make bad decisions. When you make bad decisions, that means you sin. And when you sin, you put your life at risk. So is that anger really worth all of that? It ain't. I'm being honest, it ain't too much that anybody can say or do that is really worth you being angry and upset for an extended period of time. Most of the time when people really be angry and upset, they're really angry and upset about stuff they got going on within themselves that ain't got nothing to do with you. You know what I'm saying? And they're just projecting that onto you. Because you know when you did something to somebody to make them angry and you wrong. You be knowing. You know what I'm saying? You know you shouldn't have said this or shouldn't have done that. That's just a level of maturity to get to that point. What is you doing? You stretching out your clothes, your chest is exposed. For evildoers shall be cut off, and those that wait upon Yahuwah shall inherit the earth. And see, you can do that along with the Daniel 12 with the inherit the earth. Get your toes out your mouth, son. For yet a little while, and the wicked shall not be. Yea, you shall diligently consider his place, and it shall not be. But the meek shall inherit the earth and shall delight themselves in the abundance of shalom. And I believe that is the last one. Tavon, you ain't giving me nothing, man. Tavon. Huh?
Witnesses that.
Where your witnesses at? No, I got you. John 11:25. Say where you at with it. Civic say you need to tighten up on your backstroke, your stroke back. 11:21, John. Be quiet before I literally your butt. Then said Martha unto Yahushua, Lord, if you had been here, my brother had not died. But I know that even now, whatsoever you will ask of Elohim will give it you. Yahushua said unto her, your brother shall rise again. Martha said unto him, I know he shall rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Yahushua said unto her, I am the resurrection and the life. He that believed in me, though he were dead, yet shall he live. But whosoever live and believe in me shall never die. Believe you this? Understand that he gave this prophecy and this meat to a believer. But once the 2 verses back, he gave it to everybody. But hallelujah for Yahushua. The word, we'll start right there. You who are willing, we'll keep it rolling. Next week, you brothers can give me what you got for baptism. If you want to add to your baptism answers, you can add to them. You know what I'm talking about? But we're going to stop it right there because if not, we'll be about 3 hours. You know what I'm talking about? And we don't really need to go that long. But I appreciate y'all time. We'll keep this rolling. Bless y'all in the house of Elohim in the name of Yahushua. You know what I'm saying? Love y'all, man. You know what I'm saying? Keep your mind on that there and continue to develop yourself so you can be a full age, so that you can discern. You know what I'm talking about? And to be able to deal and process the strong meat like a man is supposed to. I appreciate y'all again, man. You who are willing to the next. Back hurt. I'm gonna put on some basketball.